at 6.
Stop Ben Carson at the door. Don't cut housing for the poor.
A visit to Little Rock by the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development met with dozens of protesters fired up over a proposal to raise rent for people receiving federal housing benefits.
Channel 7's Matt Mershon following Secretary Carson around Central Arkansas today. He's here now off the top. And Matt, the Secretary making several stops on that trip.
That's right. Dr. Carson made stops in both Little Rock and North Little Rock to see renovations underway at public housing complexes. He also made a stop at Little Rock's Our House, a homeless shelter that also receives HUD funding. Department of Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson seen leaving Paris Towers Tuesday, a public housing complex for low-income seniors and the disabled. It's one of several stops Carson made during a trip to the Little Rock area with Congressman French Hill.
Stop Ben Carson at the door. Don't cut housing for the poor.
Carson's trip met with dozens of protesters frustrated with a legislative proposal Secretary Carson introduced last week that would raise the rent for nearly half of the country's 4.7 million families receiving federal housing subsidies, many drawing references to Carson's own personal history with federal benefits.
Support families in paying for housing, nourishing their children with SNAP benefits like his mother did 40 years ago. If you pay for their health care, then you get, the outcome is a man like Dr. Ben Carson, brilliant neurosurgeon.
Carson ended his day at Our House, a shelter that assists Little Rock's working homeless. There he took questions about his rent reform proposal, something he says is designed to encourage people to get off assistance.
You know, there are a lot of things that are perverse incentives in the current system. We have to get rid of those things so that we move people in the right direction.
Carson also spent time at Goodwill today. Most of Carson's trip, except for that visit to Our House, though, was off limits to the press. Chris.
Okay, Matt Mershon for us today. Matt, thanks so much. You can read more on exactly what the Secretary's proposal entails by clicking on this story on KATV.com.